up will be very different to the way that it was set up at Brighton.
Absolutely. So, did you hear the booing?
At the end of half time.
Yeah, end of half time, and also for Emerson.
Well, I assume for me, I think that the booing at the end of the first half was actually directed towards the decisions that were being made.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was directed at the players. I think it was directed more at
It
the.
was a minority, I felt. It wasn't like the whole crowd. It's like I thought a
Well, that's
section
my
or
point. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean that's my point. Whereas I think previous, I mean, maybe I'm just being kind, I suppose, because I think when we were, I can't remember, was it Newcastle? There was booing, and that felt like it was directed at the performance because the
Yeah,
performance was
yeah.
rubbish. Whereas I don't think here it was necessarily directed at the performance. I felt it was directed at the officials, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm
Mm-hmm.
misinterpreting it.
Well, it could
Um,
be. Maybe that's why it was only. It seemed to me like pockets, but I mean, to be honest, I thought Emerson didn't play particularly well, but I was a bit
no,
surprised that he was actually got booed. And I know, I mean, the moans and groans, especially for a couple of wayward crosses and passes, and but it must be very tough for him. I mean, I know he's not good enough, but blimey, that takes some character if you feel already the fans have turned on you.
yeah, but so yes, I suppose. I mean, we've been here before. We had Sissoko, who was our previous fall guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, and everyone wondered what's in his contract, which means he has to play every game. There must be something written in there.
Yeah,
Is there, and then he sort of magically turned to court. He went away for there was a break or something. He came back and it was like someone had stolen his body, but actually there was a footballer inside. And maybe we're hoping that will happen with Emerson. It's strange because he does some stuff, and you kind of go, "That's great." And then maybe
mm.
we're being kind because it's like he's doing the fundamentals, but he'll protect the ball, he'll nick a ball, and he'll get it out away, he'll get it, he'll cross it down, and he'll do that thing. But I suppose because his level of accuracy is not in the high 90s, or not accuracy, his margin, his error for margin,
Mm.
let's say, is in the teens, is not in the 0 point something percent. Everyone's a bit kind of like, you need to be 99.9% good enough to be here, not 83% good enough to be in here.
The thing is like it's funny, isn't it? Because with Undembele, he had everything that we wanted in a player, but just didn't have
Couldn't be
the
asked.
couldn't be asked to play. He's looking good elsewhere now. And it's the opposite with Emerson. I think he gives everything. He wants to do it. He's desperate to
Yeah.
play well, which I admire, but he just isn't right for our team.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree with that. I mean, whenever you see anything going on behind the scenes, it's a bit like Aurier when he was here. It's like
Mm.
Emerson's in the middle of it all. He is, and I know it's not, we're a football club is, it's not just about the vibes in the changing room. It's actually about performing on the pitch. But I think he is obviously a good energy in the changing room. The squad like him, blah blah blah.
Mm.
He still gets a lot of, it's not like the team are freezing him out and they're not passing to him. He is getting a lot of time on the ball, and maybe there's a recognition that most of the time he'll get it right and sometimes he'll get it wrong, and it's our job to cope with all of that. Or maybe it's just like, fuck it, we've got nobody else, so
Well,
let's
I
just
can't work
get
out
on with
what
it.
Doherty's done. I mean, is he like got off with Conte's daughter or something? I don't know, because like he's just not getting a shout, is he? I mean, I thought
No,
when he came on, he did come on, didn't he, towards the end of
yeah, well,
of the
he
Liverpool
fed the he
game?
fed the goal.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought he looked actually pretty good. So
Yeah,
I
he
don't
was
know why
injured.
he's not playing above.
Yeah, I mean, it may well have been he was injured for a bit, and Emerson was getting a run, and then maybe it's kind of like, see what happens. Okay, you know, if Emerson really is not turning it, not performing, then I'll bring you on, and maybe he's done enough to kind of earn the first place in that position.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a shame because you only want, and I think I can only speak for myself, I suppose. You only want your team, you only want your squad to do well. You want them to do their best. It's frustrating when they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I suppose they're all kind of human, but at the same time, you know, they're athletes who should be at the top of their game.
Yeah, agreed. Oh well, I mean, overall, I'm not too disappointed. I didn't go away feeling gutted. I mean, disappointed, yeah, but I didn't go away
Yeah.
feeling like angry or gutted or anything. I felt, we had a good go. We did try and take it to them. So, I was fairly optimistic about our performance overall, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I felt, we sort of came out fighting. And as I said, two a bit of bad defending and an error or two errors, if you like, led to their two goals. We were inches away, not like lots of inches, literally,
Yeah,
an inch or so away from
millimeters.
scoring
Yeah,
two
yeah,
decent goals from Perisic. We had a penalty disallowed, and actually, and Kulusevski came on and made an impact within 2 minutes, or
yeah.
whatever it was, 5 minutes, and got us a goal. So it wasn't great, but it wasn't an absolute disaster.
No, no, agreed.
You know,
So let's have a look quickly at the draw for the Champions League. Your thoughts on AC
oh,
Milan?
yeah, I think that's going to be exciting. I'm quite
Mm,
quite looking forward to that. I think we've got the second leg,
yeah.
so that's good. That's great. There's no away goal rule, so
Hmm.
that's good.
And so
So
the second leg suits us better being at home then, really, isn't it? I think that gives us slight advantage because
correct,
we'll know where we're at, really.
correct, exactly
Yeah.
that. So you know what you're getting into. So rather than anything else. So it's kind of like actually quite an exciting tie, I think.
Mm. They're doing well
Uh,
because I think they're second in the league in Italy, aren't they? So I think they're they're,
yeah,
they're doing well, but I think it's a tantalizing draw, but not one that we should
yeah.
be completely afraid of.
Oh, I completely agree. I think it's well. How can I describe it? It's kind of like it should be well matched. If with
Hmm.
sort of boxing terms, it should be well matched. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't want to go in. You don't want to go into it with a team where you're expected to be the overdog because then if it all
Hmm.
falls apart, blah blah blah, blah. And you want to go into it as well, but you're the underdog because of an expectation. So I think it's kind of like if it's well matched and you're going toe to toe,
Yeah.
I think everyone should be excited that this is good,
Yeah.
and we should we have got a real opportunity to both time sides will be thinking opportunity to take a scalp here
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and get knock the other team out that could, not saying I don't think we'd be contenders to win the whole bloody thing, but if whoever progresses is certainly one step closer.
Yeah. I mean that getting to the. I mean, me and Rich said last pod. There's no doubt about it. We could get to the semi-finals. That would be a good deep run into the competition for us.
Mm,
But if we
mm,
got to the quarters, that's still highly respectable as well. And I think, like you were saying, really in the previous Champions League group, well, the one that we just come out of, top of the group actually,
mm.
but the one that we just come out of, I think part of our issue was we were expected to wipe the floor with all those teams, and
Yeah,
actually that didn't do us any favors.
no,
Being the underdog, for them probably helped them psychologically, and
agreed.
so I think this is as you say, like a good matchup, and
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to this exciting game, tasty game.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that's what you and as again, we want to take it to them. We want to be at our best. And I suppose we shouldn't be afraid, but at the same time, we need to give it the respect it deserves. And I think that's kind of a healthy balance.
spot on. Yeah. So then we have
Hmm.
tomorrow Forest
Yeah,
in the
which
EFL Cup.
I didn't even
No,
realize was happening until
no.
somebody mentioned it, and I was
My,
like, "That's about Wednesday night," and I was like, What's happening? What
what?
Wednesday night? I don't really
Yeah.
understand what's going on."
My
So
son
Nottingham
actually
Forest.
texted me. He's like, "We've got Forest in the cup." He thought it was a draw. I went, "Yeah, we're playing them tomorrow." He went, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I don't think you're the only one that hasn't realised this."
Yeah, I think
Um,
there's so much going on with
yeah.
Champions League and with the Liverpool game, and then kind of everyone's thinking, "Oh, World Cup break, World Cup break." This has sort of got
Mm,
lost in the middle.
absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
So I think
so
I don't know about
oh, sorry,
you,
go on.
but what I was going to say to you, what do you think in terms of rotation here? Do you think Conte will go like big on the rotation, or not so much?
So I think I've always kind of felt that. I'm just looking it up. So is this what round is it?
Richarlison's in back, by the way.
So it's a good opportunity for him actually to
Mm.
warm up a bit. Let's think about this. So we've got Leeds at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Is it last? Is it
sorry,
last
I'm just trying
32?
to
Is
find
it?
the table. Tottenham Hotspur. Oh no, no, I don't want to sign in BBC. Scores and fixtures, right? Okay, so we've got Notts Forest, then we've got Leeds,
Yeah, and that's it
and
until
that's
after the way.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, given that I think he'll rotate pretty heavily, if Richarlison's back, I expect him to feature.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Clearly, we've still got Son out, and also I think well, actually, it's interesting. And will he give Decky some more, pitch time? Yes. Would
Yeah,
they
yeah.
start? Maybe not. But I think what we
I could
like,
see
I think
Decky
what's
and Richie
seeing
up
both
front.
of. Say again.
I could see Decky and Richie up front if Richie's fit enough. That might be an
Yeah,
opportunity to give
but from
Kane a
the
rest.
off, but from the off.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe not from the off, but if Richarlison's back in full training, which the website was saying he is, then why not? I mean, you could have Kane on the bench just in case, but because I think he definitely needs a rest.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, okay, there's two ways to look at this. It wouldn't hurt to start Richarlison and Kulusevski and let them go out there. And first half, if the game is away with the fairies by then,
Mm-hmm.
please God, it's like 3-0 up or something.
Yeah.
You can just say, fine, brilliant. You've had a good training, you had a good session, come off, let the kids have a go. Conversely, he might take the view and say, actually, let's let the rotated squad have a go. But I am bringing you guys on, come hell or high water, at 60.
Well, if I'm going to
You
go,
could do it either way, I suppose. I just don't. I can never tell with these things what the right thing to do is.
no, I mean, if I'm going to go conspiracy theorist wise, I mean, really, do we really want to progress in this cup? Because because when you look at it, this fixture, plus when you come back after the World Cup, you've got 3 days later after the World Cup final, depending on how many players there are in the final, and then you're playing the semi-final within the month of January, so you potentially got another. Potentially maybe another 6 games to add.
EFL. This is EFL, not
Yeah,
FA.
EFL.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
because it's so truncated, if you went
yeah.
deep into that competition, you really got a lot of games. So I suspect this game he'll rotate and play. We might see Spence get a game. You might see Skip get a game. You might
So,
see
so you're thinking he'll just be like, okay, whatever happens, happens. I don't really care.
Well,
If you
I kind of hope so, really.
if the second string go out and win it, cool. This
Yeah,
is your competition. Do what you
yeah,
want.
and keep some
If
of the top
you
ones on the bench. And if we're not doing so well after 70, bring them on.
Yeah, but okay, but why do that then? So if the point is it doesn't matter what happens in
Well,
this
we'll see if.
competition,
Well, I suppose
why
to
would you then
see.
bring on? Why would you bring on lifeboats?
Well, only because then you might see that those players, if they can win it outright by themselves, fine. And you're given at least those members like Benton Cook, Kane, etc. You're giving them 70 minutes rest at least,
Right.
given the game on the weekend. So, if you really wanted to progress, bring them on. But I suspect we'd have enough in our team to do the job anyway. Gill deserves a game.
I agree. I
Yeah.
mean, no, this is my point, right? So if he views the Prem and the Champions League as being the big deal, and he views the domestic cups as being stuff to bleed the rest of the squad on, and if they went and won it, cool, good for them. But if they don't, I couldn't care. No one cares because
No.
I'm not being measured on that.
No. I'd much rather win the FA Cup. And don't get me wrong, I'd like to win this cup, of course. Any cup will do just to get that monkey off our back.
Yeah,
But I'd much rather go deep in the Champions League and
of course.
or win the FA Cup.
Well, and that isn't that what and that frankly, going deep in the Champions League is where the money is. So that's what everybody's focused on.
Yeah.
The Prem is, sounds ridiculous to say, within 10 million or something. It doesn't matter where you finish in the top 6. It's about getting into the Champions League because that is where the money is.
Yeah.
The cup is good and it's glorious and the fans want it. But if the guy is not measured on how far he progresses in the EFL Cup, then
I mean, Forest haven't been any great shakes in the league at the moment, but I suspect they'll go strong because it's pretty much all they got, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's